Do you love old school shooters, especially PC Engine Caravan shooters, like Soldier Blade? You sure as heck know I do. Well, I got news for you. Just released brand new is an incredibly fun Caravan shooter called Raging Blasters. Created by Caravan, a Japanese developer known for his love of all things PC Engine. It's a straight up homage to those games, brought into modern times with gameplay and music that'll make you feel like you're back in 1992, popping in a new PC Engine game all over again. Caravan was kind enough to give me a code for the full game so I can review it for everyone upon release. And I had such a good time with it, the main game and the Caravan, that I was inspired. So we're doing a Caravan contest starting tonight, right now. And the top scores, the top 3 scores, will win a copy of the full game. So stay tuned to the end of this video for details on how to join and have a great time playing with us. If you love yourself some soldier games and you can't get enough of that fast gameplay, you're gonna love the heck out of this one. So without further ado, hit it. Raging Blasters is the antithesis of a bullet hell game. If you don't enjoy busy screens full of bullets and metals and all manner of debris littering the screen, and prefer the simplicity of a Caravan shooter that's focused on speed and perfectly placed shooting, then this game is for you. Caravan was heavily influenced by PC Engine shooters, and you can just feel the DNA the moment you start to play. The ship control is smooth and precise, and the gameplay rewards precise aiming and point-blanking enemies for quick kills. Raging Blasters captures that feeling of playing a soldier game more than any that I've played in recent memory. It's brilliant in its simplicity, and anyone can just pick up a controller and jump in and play. Caravan added modern conveniences, features expected in a modern game, instead of trying to make it a strict old school affair. Soldier Blade on PC Engine was a culmination of the games that came before it, removing unnecessary aspects like too many speed levels and respawns at death. The goal was to make it as friendly as possible to pick up and play, and Raging Blasters takes that into the modern age. You can tell that Caravan is a student of STGs and a fan of the work that M2 has done in their Shot Trigger series, as he's taken that same widget-style interface and integrated it here. The side overlays clearly display your speed level, current weapon, and how many points to your next extend. It also shows your current chain level and bonus, which is an important part of the scoring that I'll mention later. And of course, you have leaderboards for every difficulty level, along with the Caravan mode. Another aspect I really appreciated was the function over form of the graphics and design. Everything in Raging Blasters is in service of the gameplay. Most modern shmups, even very good and popular ones, like Crimson Clover, are all about searing your eyeballs with massive explosions and screenfuls of metals to devour. It's a feast for the eyes, and it helps sell copies of games, as it makes for a heck of a first impression. And while I can certainly appreciate it, it's never been my personal cup of tea when taken to the extreme. A pretty famous designer once told me there's only one star of the show, one aspect in a good design that immediately catches your attention and puts you in awe. Everything else around it is in service to that central design. And in modern bullet hell games, that one aspect is often lost, with a screen full of stars, all competing for your attention. You want to focus on the bullets and enemies, but everything else on the screen is yelling, "Look at me!" In Raging Blasters, visually, there's one star of the show, and it's not the bullets, or the enemies, or the explosions, or even the backgrounds. It's the speed. Everything in the game is in service of creating the exhilaration of blasting through the level at warp speed, just like many of the compiled shooters that I talked about in my previous video on the history of that great developer. Raging Blasters captures that feeling, and it focuses on it. Even playing on the expert level, which you see here, with a screen full of enemies, bullets, and asteroids, everything is clean and precise. You will never not see an incoming bullet or enemy. Nothing is ever obscured. The bonus messages that pop onto the screen are quick and informative without ever competing for your attention. Whether you're playing for score or playing for fun, your brain will be thanking you for not being forced to process a screen full of eye candy and figuring out what to dodge and what to ignore. It's function over form in every sense. I later read a description by Caravan on his goal for the game, and it fell directly in line with my observation. He stated, "I prioritized background speed and didn't create detailed backgrounds with map chips. If I put out ground objects, the scroll speed needs to be slowed down. So in principle, I decided not to do that. Recent STGs have slow backgrounds and the background graphics are detailed. Enemy bullets are displayed slowly and in large numbers. I made this game the opposite. For an STG, it's important to feel comfortable hitting a shot and destroying the enemy. I created the feeling of hitting the shot and the exhilaration of destruction." Mission accomplished, my friend. Caravan actually brings up an important point and a big delineation between the older style shooters and newer bullet hell. STGs from the 80s and early 90s focused on the act of shooting, thus called shooting games, and an important aspect of shooting is aiming and hitting your shots, shooting the core, hitting small enemies with small bullets and the precision that requires. Of course, there was plenty of dodging, but it was in service to the shooting first. And while the game certainly had fancy weapons, strategy was required to always be mindful of your screen position, and success depended more on your accuracy and ability to speed kill enemies than it was on your ability to dodge bullets. Bullet hell games are often the polar opposite, where dodging patterns of bullets and finding the best ways to route the stage is the name of the game. The weapons are often wide enough to cover the entire screen, and huge beams plow through mountains of enemies at once. You don't need to aim, but simply hold down the fire button to hit your target, with your focus on the bullet patterns and not getting caught in an undodgeable position. So while the older games were truly shooters, bullet hell could more accurately be called a dodger. It's not a matter of better or worse, but they're different, which is why such a delineation exists. And of course, this isn't a black and white scenario. Many games fall somewhere comfortably in between. But not Raging Blasters. It is 100% Caravan shooter and 0% bullet hell. And if that's what you love, this game's your bag, baby. Another modern design concept that I really liked that bucked the trend of many older shooters is the fear of losing your power-ups at death, making the game suddenly way too difficult to continue. Absolutely not the case here. Each of the weapons in this game have just one power level. There's no benefit to grabbing it again, and there are plenty of them at all times. So when you die, it's literally moments before another one appears and you're back up to full power. Raging Blasters is about keeping you going, not slowing you down or making your ship weak. And that's important, as the weapons are very strategic and well designed, aside from one specific weapon that I didn't care for out of a total of 5. All other 4 I found essential to use in various parts of the game, especially on the expert difficulty, where the strategy of having the right weapon at the right moment is key to survival and score. Another feature of the weapon system are the 2 different fire modes, either straightforward or spread, like you see in the red weapon of Soldier Blade. Each is simply mapped to a different button, so you can quickly use the right approach in fractions of a second. You can even hold down both fire buttons to use the spread shot and release it for standard. switching back and forth in an instant, the kind of touch and attention to detail that comes with a game developed by a player who knows what makes for good control. There are no bombs, and the special weapon auto-fires, regardless of which method you use. It makes the game very simple to approach and play. In fact, Caravan specifically made the game play like a console shooter and not an arcade port. It would make a fantastic starter shmup for beginners to learn, as the normal mode is not difficult at all compared to many other games, and improving in the game means improving your fundamentals, proper ship placement, accuracy, and dominating the screen with quick enemy kills, like I talked about in my very first Shooter 101 video. It's a perfect game for a novice to pick up, eventually complete on normal, and then play on the harder difficulty to keep improving. Caravan also included a really cool 2-player co-op mode for local play, and it was important enough to where he titled his game Raging Blasters, plural. I wish I had someone to try it out with this week in 2-player mode, so if anyone gets to play the demo with a friend, let me know how it was in the comments, as I'd love to hear about it. Another thing Raging Blasters has in common with the PC Engine Caravan shooters is the absolutely incredible music. Soldier Blade and Superstar Soldier likely have my favorite OST from any shooter ever. And I don't know how Caravan found his composer, HIROKKEY, but oh my god, you have to hear the music in this game. It is amazing. If you love the melodic chiptunes of PC Engine games, you will go gaga over this soundtrack. Literally every stage is unique and fantastic. How much do I love the style of music here? Let's just say if I ever had the talent to program or design my own STG, HIROKKEY is who I would be personally calling to score my game. It's the exact type of music I love in a shooter and can't stress enough how perfectly it fits Raging Blasters. So instead of raving about it further, check out some of these tracks and try not to click buy before this video is even over. To compose the music, Caravan first created the game video to send to HIROKKEY, who then used the footage to create the compositions, and as I like to say, knocked it out of the park. It's a big part of what makes every level a blast to play. You'll also be able to buy the soundtrack separately on Steam, and I, for one, will be doing just that, despite that I already have the music files. I'd love to see more from HIROKKEY. So the music is phenomenal, and the gameplay is clearly devised by an expert player that understands what makes a good STG. And I actually dig the graphics, as simple as they are. But my biggest fear for this game is that so many people will look for flashy graphics and move on when they fail to impress. Not every programmer is an artist, like Shmup from Wings of Blue Star, or Gryzor from Super XYX, and not all games require that aesthetic to work. In Raging Blasters, I was actually quite taken with the coloring of the stage graphics. They not only remind me of older Caravan shooters, but the color used, especially the blues and reds, remind me of games like Gunhead and Soldier Blade. They share an aesthetic that makes them feel of the same universe. So my biggest wish for Caravan and his new game is that many choose to give it a shot despite the initial impression of simplistic graphics. As in motion, I really enjoyed how the stages looked and the fast pace that they scrolled. And that brings us to the most excellent Caravan mode and what we'll be playing this week for top scores and to win some copies of this cool game. If you just joined my channel and are not familiar, a Caravan mode is a short, timed special stage, usually between 2 and 5 minutes, where the goal is to score as high as possible before time expires. Designed for contests, Caravan stages are packed with secrets, score bonuses, and other creative methods of boosting your score. They also feature endless waves of enemies that only appear when the previous has been destroyed, which means the faster you play and the faster you kill them, the sooner new enemies appear and allow you to boost your score even farther. Caravans are a combination of speed and precision, where you juggle killing enemies as quickly as possible, while also picking up every special score bonus within the stage. And they're called Caravans because they were famously used by Hudson Soft during the 80s and early 90s to host competitions in Japan. If you want to learn more, I did a whole episode last year on these great caravans and the Japanese competitions called the Shooter Crackpipe, which is what Raging Blasters is based on. So if you haven't seen that episode yet, or if you don't know what butt paste is for, that video will answer both of those questions for you. Now you may be thinking, nah, I don't really get into playing for score. I'm right there with you. My whole life, I've been playing just for fun and not paid much attention to it. And I know many of you watching may be like me. Caravans are where I make an exception. What makes these Caravan events so much fun is playing in a group, not just to compete, but to actually help each other. Share tips and tricks, and videos of our playthroughs, so at the end of the week, no matter your final score, you'll have improved tremendously, as well as had a good time chatting and sharing with others. It's basically a week-long Shmup social event. In our last event for a Mega Drive Caravan called Omega Blast, we had plenty of new players join and not only have fun, but make serious improvements in their skill level and surprise themselves at how well they did. There's something about playing with others more experienced than you that are trying to help you improve that brings out your best. So if you think you suck at shmups, don't be shy and join us on the Discord. Just make sure you have the time to put into it, playing and practicing, and you may be really surprised how much you've improved by the end of the week. A group Caravan is a great boot camp at becoming better at shmups in general. The competition starts today and runs until next Sunday. Play as little or as much as you want with us. Download the free demo now from the link in my pinned comment or description, and join us in a good time. The demo is available free now to participate in the Caravan. The full game will release on January 22nd, and it'll be on sale for the first week for under $13. It's made by an expert player with a love for PC Engine and Caravans, and the gameplay and music is fantastic. I said it at the start and I'll say it again. If you love the old style PC Engine shooters, you owe it to yourself to pick up this game or at least try the demo. You won't regret it. And for those joining the Caravan starting today to win the full game with some top scores, I have a link in my pinned comment. So I'll see you on the Discord because it's time to smoke 'em if you got 'em.